My name is Michael Maroy, creator of TooRealForTV.com, award-winning documentary filmmaker, and that's what I do, TooRealForTV. I got 9 films in the can, and I've done numerous, EPKs and little life stories and stuff for people that went on the internet. But out of all my documentaries, I got a series called Cross Country Pimpin', which I wound up being on 2020 with Diane Sawyer on ABC, and they documented me on that. But Cross Country Pimpin' series is a series about the American subculture of prostitutes and pimps across America. My #1 selling out of the series has been Cross Country Pimpin' Volume 3, and I think that's probably mainly due to the fact that it came from a different perspective with the men and the women. But it's been fun. There's no such thing as planning a documentary. And I think that's what people, like sometimes people say, hey man, you need to make another movie. But if you're making a documentary, if it's a real, true documentary, you can't plan it. You have to wait for certain events to happen. You have to study, you have to, allow history to take place. That's why it's called a documentary, because you're documenting history. So you can't make history. History has to be created, and then I have to document it. So, no, I can't plan it. That's like when you see these reality TV shows today, they're not really reality TV shows, because they're planned, they're staged. They're more like game shows. That's really what it is. It's a game show. It's like, okay, we're gonna do this flavor of love. So all you girls are gonna put you in the house and you battle for this prize, and the prize is Flavor Flav. So it's a game show. It's not it's not a reality show. You know what I mean? So, or even if you do, like some people have done documentaries and they stage it and you rent this guy a car and you put this guy in it, that's not real. And so to me, the name of my company, TooRealForTV, it's like too real. Like, this is really real. A lot of that stuff, it's not real. What's the entertainment factor in that? And what are you informing? Like, to make a real documentary, you have to document, inform, entertain, and intrigue. So you have to have somebody that, after they see what you've done, then they have to be informed. They have to get some type of information. Then it'd be entertaining at the same time. But most importantly, you have to say, okay, after they've seen the movie, now they have to be moved to do something. When you shooting a documentary film, you're trying to tell a story ultimately. So the question you have to ask yourself is, what story am I trying to tell? Because you could shoot a documentary of one subject from 10 different perspectives. I could shoot a documentary, like let's say we shooting a film about Michael Jordan. We could talk about his personal life, we could talk about his dedication, we could talk about his accolades. It could be from many different perspectives. So you gotta ask yourself, what perspective am I trying to tell the story from? So as you're telling the story, when I'm shooting in my head, I'm editing already. Like already it's already being edited in my head. I'm like, okay, yeah, that was good what she said about that, or that's good footage. Everything, the storyline is most important. Everything else is B-roll. You know what I mean? Like, so if I'm telling a story about annual pimp celebration called the Players Ball, I'm doing a film about this event. So the actual popping bottles and the chicks, all that's like B-roll footage. That's just thrown in there for visual aids. We want to tell the story of the history of this particular event and why does it still exist and what is the purpose of it. That's ultimately what you want to do. So when you sit down and edit, you have that in front of you. But as far as footage goes, there's been times where I've shot a documentary film, and this is the thing that's rough, because I have friends and they say, hey man, put me in the movie, and I always want to, but when you're sitting there with 50 to 100 hours of footage and you're trying to make a 90-minute film, it's kind of rough chopping all that in there and putting it in there. So sometimes I might miss something small, like a dude just talking in the camera about nothing. And people don't understand that. Like, if you get in front of the camera and I'm interviewing you, you don't give me any content that I can really use, then I have to cut it out. You know what I mean? So it's rough. But it's an art to it. Editing is definitely I think editing, the story part, is the hardest part of making a film. You can get millions of guys to shoot. There's a lot of great shooters, a lot of great cinematographers. But I think the editing and the storytelling, really the storytelling, is the hardest part of telling what's the story I'm trying to tell. Study good films. Learn how to learn, not what you learn. It's not about what you learn, it's that you learn how to learn. And study good films. I once sat back with a young lady, and I was talking about films, And this is crazy because I've been to universities and professors and all that, and they always try to tell you, oh, this makes a good film or that makes a good film. And yo, the cinematography or this, and usually they're fucking wrong because all the shit that's become great is so untraditional for what you think a good film is supposed to be. But this young lady broke down to me, and I never forget it because it was almost like I became a child of the sun or something. I was so enlightened. I was like, what makes a good film? And she said, a good film is a film that you will watch again, that you will watch it over. And that's the truth. Like, everybody watch Scarface over and over and over. We know the lines, we know what's finna happen, but we still watch it over and over again. You know, movies like Friday that was done on a little shoestring budget, but we'll watch it over and over again. And then you get some films that are supposed to be so cinematically perfect, but you can't even get through the whole film. You know what I mean? You're ready to cut it off before the film is over. So when somebody watches my whole film, or if somebody tells me they watched my film a couple times and we watch it all the times, to me that's the biggest compliment. I feel like I've accomplished. You know what I mean? Like if somebody's like, yeah, we watched that film 3-4 times, or man, we watched that film all day. I'm like, damn, I won. When somebody say, oh yeah, we was watching the film, we ain't even finished it. I ain't finished it though because I had to go. I'm like, oh, I lost. If you lost your crowd, if they watching the movie, but they didn't get through the whole movie, regardless of whatever they had to do, yeah, you lost. So that's my job. I just want to make a film where you're gonna watch the whole film and possibly watch it over. That's a good film. So to any aspiring filmmakers out there, study films that you watch over and over again. They got the chemistry that's gonna work. All that cinematography and the point of view and depth of view, or don't cross the proscenium lines, whatever the fuck that means. Don't worry about that. Make a film that they're gonna watch over and over again.